From boudin to the best burgers Acadiana has to offer, it's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I guess the trade-off to have such gorgeous weather on yesterday was to have really nasty weather today, and it looks like we're in for a round two after the show, hoping I make it home safely before it gets too bad. But gorgeous weekend in Acadiana. We had the Po' Boy Festival yesterday, which I was so excited about going to, and unfortunately I missed it because my good friend Ann Falgu, who has co-hosted the show numerous times with me, needed me to be her right-hand gal for a cooking demo at the Delcombe Farmers Market. And that was actually my first time checking out the Delcombe Farmers Market, and it's really cool. They do it the first Saturday of every month, and it's right on the dock. I think the coolest thing for me was walking up and seeing the shrimp boat parked right there and the long line of people with their ice chests buying shrimp right off the dock. It was pretty cool. I also purchased my first muscadine wine, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. It is very sweet, which is nice, summer wine. Had this weird aftertaste though. Not sure how I'm feeling about it. But this particular vendor also makes a strawberry, blackberry, and I believe blueberry wine. So I'm gonna check out the other versions. Maybe I'm not a muscadine wine.
It's so good. It's so good.
Well, so I think it's Landry's Vineyards in Monroe makes a peach muscadine, and I like that one. I mean, it is super sweet, but it was tasty, and so maybe like the peach added to it.
There's something about that like earthiness. Like I'm not down for like blushes or sweet wines in general, but there's something about like that earthy aftertaste that you get from muscadines. I don't know what it is that like kind of nullifies that.
I feel like I need to check out somebody else's muscadine wine to see if maybe it's just this particular version. Because it also had like this weird smell to it too. It was weird. It was like real sweet, like syrupy sweet, and then just like this note at the end kind of hit you weird. So I didn't know.
It's always a good try. There's a place in kind of Alabama, Florida border that does a muscadine wine, and it's right on the side of the interstate. I'm not going to remember. My memory is horrible what the name of it is, but I used to go and buy these cases and give them away as Christmas presents because it was so good. And you walk in and they'll give you this whole like spread of tastes of everything, and it's fantastic. But their wines were really fantastic.
There's around the Baton Rouge area supposed to be they make muscadine champagne.
Ooh.
And
all about the bubbly.
Yeah, and I've heard that it's really good, and I had friends that, buy cases of that too, and I wanted to check that out. I'm going to have to explore it a little bit.
Don't write it off yet.
Yeah. So the voice that you're hearing is Abbie Perkins, who is with Cajun Kettle Corn, and she and Mark Hernandez are my guest co-hosts tonight. They're with the Lafayette Farmers and Artisans Market, and we're going to be talking to them a little later in the show about the market and the future of the market and different things that they have going on. You worked the Po' Boy Festival yesterday.
I did. Oh, man.
What was it like?
I was blown away. I was blown away last year because it was so crazy. At the time, I was working for Tribe Collective as their sous chef and was blown away by the amount of people that showed up because I don't think anybody expected it.
I think I went to you guys 3 times and you were like, we're out. And then finally you were like, we're out of bread.
Dude, we literally, the bakery was on constant baking duty. And then we had a whole nother group of people that were literally running to Rouse's and buying shrimp, like buying them out of shrimp so we could keep going. And it was absolutely insane. And this year,
it was bigger.
Outdid last year by a lot. And I mean, it was a blast though. Good music. The weather was absolutely amazing.
I had all intentions of going after the cooking demo, and I was just so tired. I helped Ann. She did 2 demos. She did a pepper jelly shrimp Asian slaw. That was the first one that she did. And then the second one that she did was a black drum tostone. So after that, I was right next to the black drum vendor like the whole time. I was like, man, I really want to make a black drum ceviche with some fried plantains. Like, I kind of want to go home and do that instead of going to the farmer's market. But I ended not doing that. Anne sent me home with like a ton of black drum that she had prepped that we didn't use. So I'm tonight, after the show, I'm making fish tacos with the leftovers.
Coming over to your house for dinner.
I'm super excited. And I bought, so I'm kind of cheating. I didn't buy like the store-bought tortillas, but I found they're raw tortillas, so I can cook them at home.
Where did you find those?
At Walmart. What? Of all places. Yeah, at Walmart of all places.
Wow.
They have like a little tiny section with all the Mexican cheeses and chorizos.
Yeah.
And they're over there. And they even have whole wheat ones too. And I think they have corn ones, but they're made, but they're not cooked. So you have to go home and do them. So I was like, ooh, that might be really good. And I've never had them, so I'm going to test them tonight.
That sounds really good. Yeah. What are you going to put with them? Are you going to do a slaw or something?
I got the cabbage. I got a little slaw to go with it. Cilantro. She did on her tostones yesterday. She took sour cream and salsa and mixed them together to do like this creamy salsa. And I'm going to do that.
Yes.
And then avocados. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Yeah. So that happened. I was real tired from being out in the sun. So I decided to have my own little po' boy party at my house. And I hit up Villagers on the way home. And I mean, come on, it's Villagers. They have the best po' boys, the pot roast po' boys. Called it in, picked it up. It's just something about that buttered bread and then the pot roast. And then by the time you get to the second half, because yes, I did eat that whole thing because I hadn't eaten all day.
No shame. It's a po' boy. You're supposed to.
The bread is like soggy and sopping up the gravy. I think that completely adds to it.
I grew up on Bears po' boys in Covington. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's in downtown Covington. They've been open forever. And the tradition is to go and get a roast beef po' boy and get a Barks root beer with that.
Oh, okay.
And that's a thing that we do when my family goes into town. So that's what I grew up on. And then coming here, until Pop's Po' Boys, I couldn't find anything. But man,
I feel like a lot of New Orleans people from that area that come here to have po' boys aren't that satisfied with them because there's something about a New Orleans po' boy. Yeah. And I'll agree with that. I'll totally agree with that. But I mean, Pops is doing really good things.
I was blown away yesterday in general. Like the lineup of restaurants was amazing. Of course, you have like Saint Street Inn and then our friends from the market, Cajun Cannery, were out there and they were doing amazing things as they always do with their bacon jam. It was amazing. I was completely blown away. And then you have the restaurants that are serving your traditional, po' boys with fried shrimp and lettuce and tomato. And they were all amazing.
They looked so good. So the big winner yesterday, judge's choice was turkey and the wolf and the hog head cheese, which I'm excited that they're reaching out to other restaurants around the area and getting them to come in too. I like that they're doing that. And then people's choice was Dino's one. I believe they had like a boudin po' boy, boudin pizza po' boy, maybe.
I believe so. I was neck deep in kettle corn for about 12 hours. I kept trying to leave the booth because I could smell the food over my kettle corn, and I was just like, I cannot. I've already eaten 8 pounds of kettle corn today. I need something with meat in it. So I kept trying to wander away and go get something and come back, and I wanted to try everything, but I only got to try like 1 or 2. So it was amazing, the 2 that I got to try.
All right, we are going to take our first break, and when we come back, we have more with Abbie and Mark. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
And now, we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Ducote. Abbie Perkins with Cajun Kettle Corn.
Hey, hi.
And Mark Hernandez with the Lafayette Farmers and Artisans Market are on today as guest co-hosts. I want to give a quick little shout out to my listeners. I actually met a few of you this weekend, and I'll tell that story real quick since Abbie felt like I should share it on the air.
Since I've been giggling since we got back on the air.
But I specifically want to give a shout shout out to all the delivery drivers who listen to the show. I had one reach out to me yesterday who was celebrating a birthday. She is a loyal listener of the show, and she delivers for Domino's Pizza. And sadly, the Moe's app was not working for her, so to download her free burrito for her birthday, which is something that I had talked about on this show.
No.
So she messaged me to tell me that. But thank you out there to all the delivery drivers who listen to the show. I kind of forget about that, especially with waiter. There's a lot of waiter drivers that listen to podcasts.
Oh, I totally, like when you uploaded all, the episodes that you've uploaded, I sat there and I listened to all of them in a line. That's what I would do while I was driving around, and it made everything pass by just perfectly. And you know,
I listen to podcasts too, like when I go on long trips. So I totally get it. But thank you, all of you out there in Radio Land who listen to the show. But okay, so quick funny story of something that happened yesterday at the Delcombe Farmers Market. This lady kept looking at me, and then she finally walked up to me after one of the demos, and she said, "Who are you?" like that. And I said, I'm Tiffiany Ducote. I'm a food writer from Lafayette, and I have a radio show called Lafayette Food Junkie. Oh, that's it. That's where it's from then. Okay. She's like, me and my sister were trying to figure it out, and she was thinking it was from Jerry Springer. But I was like, God. I just knew you were somebody. So I was like, okay.
I sit and I'm taking in this story and wondering which is worse, being recognized as a person who have possibly been on the show, or admitting that you're a person who recognizes people that may have been on the show.
And then Ann was like, man, how much Jerry Springer do they watch to think that? I was like, I don't know. I said, I guess I could look like I could be on Jerry Springer. And then my friends were like, well, what episode would it be?
It's like, it's a black hole. It's like watching a train wreck, and like you'll walk by in a doctor's office and just kind of sit just with an eye line.
What's that in Maury? Because like Maury plays a lot while I'm at the gym, and it's like you can't look away. Like I can't even hear what's happening.
You can't.
But I'm just seeing, and then it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Someone's on a pole, or someone is fighting.
It's instinctual. It comes from very deep roots of being aware of your surroundings and wondering what's happening over here.
You do find interesting characters at farmers markets, however.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to talk about that right now. Let's talk about the farmers market. I don't know what's happened ever since I turned 35. It started 35 now that I'm 36, but I've wanted to start cooking at home more and kind of become more of a homebody, not really going to a lot of restaurants. And luckily, we have a great farmers market here in Acadiana, and it's been fun getting out there and joining different CSAs, getting the vegetables from the market, getting inspired, and then coming home and cooking at home. So thanks for having us, Tiffiany. The Lafayette Farmers and Artisans Market at Munkus Park is now going on 4 years. June 1st will be 4 years there. And from the inception, the community has really embraced the whole concept of farmers markets, the local flair, exposing the culture to the outside people. And so we're just thrilled that we've come this far. We have over 80 vendors from 24 parishes, 11 farms. We have the largest certified organic farm in the state, Inglewood Farms, selling all organic produce, eggs, honey.
Everything.
Pork,
meat, oils,
And so what we're thrilled about is that we give those farmers a venue to really be able to sell their wares. Not only do we have large farms, we also have small family farms. We have Prudhoe City Farm. We have Blazing Star Farm. We have shrimp and seafood and honey and fresh eggs, kettle corn, you name it. We've got a whole plethora of different products. So we're thrilled about the progress of the market.
And
so
you'll have a lot of prepared foods now, too. So if you're looking for somewhere to eat on Saturday morning,
absolutely,
head on out to the
kind
market.
Of fantastic for the vendors as well, because it's nice to be able to go out, get out there early, put in a few hours of work, and then be able to eat breakfast at places like Scratch, who are just throwing out some of the most amazing breakfast that you can get in Lafayette. In my opinion, it's absolutely insane.
Absolutely. And just recently, we've added the food truck roundup, which has moved from E's Kitchen the first Saturday of every month from 10 to 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So this last week was our third third installment of that food truck roundup. So there's all kinds of different prepared food options. Great options.
Not to mention family friendly. You guys normally do different activities out there every Saturday.
Yeah, we try and incorporate some new activity every week. We have a kids corner where Esther Tyree with Go Out and Play has a corner where the parents can come and drop their kids in a safe environment. She's awesome.
She's like
really
just so good with the kids and just wants all the children over there with her. And she's, does this and comes out, and it's just her little way of giving back to Lafayette. And I mean, she babysits my 3 kids during the farmers market.
Oh, so sure. Moms and dads love that they can drop their kids off and they can shop the market without worrying that their kids are, in a good environment.
This is good. I'm just wondering, can I drop them for the day?
for the weekend? Is there overnight service?
Esther would not complain. Okay. As long as you pick them up by, 1 o'clock maybe.
Man, I get the feeling though, Esther is so sweet. She would probably be like, yay, we're all going to make art and play music. And your kids are going to come back in an orchestra. Yeah. They're all going to be able to play a string instrument.
Yeah, and other than that, we kind of pride ourselves on doing other activities. We'll have workshops, gardening workshops, cooking demos. We have a live Cajun jam from 9 to 11 a.m. every Saturday. And so we're really just, we're really about exposing the culture of Lafayette, the food, the music, and really just the good times that Lafayette has. We're also very fortunate in that we're on Munkus Park, a beautiful property. So we're able to expose that property to over 2,000 people every week. And so with the future of that property and its development, I think that's crucial for Lafayette.
How did the market get its start? When did the idea start? And
Joey Durrell, our parish president, 5 years ago, started talking about the future of the park, and it was in their mission statement to have a farmer's market. And so he just put together a small group of passionate people, myself included, that wanted to see something like this in Lafayette. Every city in the region about our size has a really nice farmers market. And so when we put the rules and regulations together and started talking about the concept, it was really just it was something that was kind of needed in the area. And when you talk about starting a farmer's market, there's 3 aspects of a market that you kind of look for. Proximity to a high populated area, visibility, and also ambiance. And so this property from the start had all of those things.
I don't think that you can ask for a
better venue. I mean, those 100-year-old trees.
Absolutely amazing.
For sure.
The moss. Those mornings with the mist rolling in over the hill. It's absolutely breathtaking.
On top of those 3 things, this property has something extra special, and it's its agricultural history through the university. So 100 years, it's been agricultural property. So many students have gone through SLI, USL as ag students on that property. So I think it's only a natural fit for our market to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the future things that you're wanting to happen with the market? I know that there's been talks of a pavilion.
Yes, absolutely.
For a while. Where are y'all in the works with
we're
that?
an open air market, so that's a beautiful thing. I mean, it creates great atmosphere. The only challenge for that is on days like today.
Yeah,
right.
Our vendors' sales could be really, really hurt, and so one of the things that can kind of alleviate some of those challenges is a farmers market pavilion. So it is in the works in phase 1A to have a farmers market pavilion. And so we're really excited about that. That'll probably happen in the next 2 years or so.
We are all, as vendors, so excited about it because, our income, and we understand going into being a farmer's market venue or vendor that you kind of sign up for this, that you're going to have your good seasons, which are, spring, fall, sometimes summer, definitely not winter. But this winter was mild, so it's been really great. But those rainy days come in and just wipe out,
and so
tons of profitability for local people. So this pavilion would change it.
What keeps me moving forward is the passion I have for our vendors. I mean, these people are entrepreneurs. They're passionate about their craft, and they're just pleasant people. And so I, as a market president, want to do everything I can to make sure that these people have a steady income from our market. And so that drives me, and I think a lot of people in the city see the benefit of having a market on this property and want to support these people.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think economically it's so important for Lafayette as well to have, this farmer's market where it is. We were talking about it before the show. It's a tiny little economy where, money locally is coming in and money locally is being spent. The money that you give me on a Saturday morning for that kettle corn, I'm turning around and I'm spending it in Lafayette. 100% of that goes into that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
Doesn't get more local than that.
It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't get more local than that. And not only that, but you have this this experience and this connection with people that builds a community. You know, I think community is lost when we disconnect.
Right.
You know, and that it's so important to keep that connection. And that's one of the things that the farmers market offers. You know, you're not going to walk up and look at a shelf with a bunch of things on it. You're going to walk up and look at a person standing across the table from you that is passionate about what they're doing and, you know, put a lot of time and energy and love into what they're making, and they want you to enjoy it as well. And
that's absolutely right, what Abbie's saying. That, you know, there's a saying that says, shake the hand that feeds you. And so there's this human connection. It's an intangible thing. Of course, there's going to be transactions, financial transactions. Of course, there's going to be great products. But there's something special about being able to shake the hand that feeds you.
Right.
And only a farmer's market can give you that. And so I think our vendors, you know, some of them probably could just put their product on shelves and be done with it. But there's something more to a farmer's market. And if our listeners haven't experienced what a farmer's market can do for a community, I really would suggest that they stop by our market or any market locally and see what it's about, because I think they'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, just come around and talk to us about what we do. And I mean, you'll feel inspired. You know, I do. I'm inspired by my fellow vendors every day, just walking around. I think we kind of keep each other going and inspired and give each other energy to keep. What
I love, too, about one of the aspects of the market is that, you know, each vendor has their own story, and that's their marketing. You know, it's not just a logo. It's why they're there.
Exactly.
And I've been given permission to share some of the stories. One of them is that we have a lady who's she's got some mental health issues, and her doctor told her, you need to go to the farmer's market every Saturday and stay there because it's good for you.
Wow.
And she doesn't make $1, but she's there for her health. You know, and so we're all about health and wellness, and there's all kinds of different stories that pop up in a farmer's market.
Not to mention, like, the relationship that we form, you know, with people who maybe are shut-ins. Like, I have customers who the farmers market is literally the only time that they get out during the week, and they're able to come out of their shell and not feel threatened. And you know, it's just such a loving, good environment to step into, and you leave with a piece of that with you. Yeah. So,
all right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Abbie and Mark. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
She puts the wow, yum into words. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie herself on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Ducote, and Abbie Perkins with Cajun Kettle Corn and Mark Hernandez with the Lafayette Farmers and Artisans Market are on tonight as guest co-hosts. Yes. So the market right now is on Saturdays. I know that in the past you've done it on Wednesdays sometime. Is the hope for the future for it to be open more than just one day a week?
Yeah, you know, I think one of the visions, and it's kind of hard to know exactly what the future holds for us with the development of the park and everything. But one of the things that's been thrown around is the idea of possibly having a market throughout the weeks, where maybe under the pavilion, possibly, where it can kind of be a market throughout the week. Our vendors can maybe leave their products. Maybe it could be like a little mini market type thing, possibly a cafe. So there's all kinds of things that are still up in the air, and we'll see what the future holds for us. But for sure, we're there every Saturday, 8 to 12, rain or shine.
See, it's just, for me, I work a lot of Saturdays, so it sucks because I don't get to go to you guys as much as I would like to. And if, you know, there's other people out there.
We've tried Wednesday evening markets in the spring. We did seasonal in the spring and the fall, and it was kind of difficult to really keep it going.
I think one thing that happens is people on Saturdays, they have the, you know, that weekender mentality where they want to go and they want to do something special and out of the ordinary.
And it's not like that during the week.
No, the hustle and bustle of like those weekdays, it's really difficult to get out there. So I think, you know, moving forward, the best thing would be to like build that clientele, figure out the best way to do it, and then go into doing that.
That brings one point too about our Saturday markets, is that so many people tell us that there's something special about the market. Yeah. And it's kind of just a laid back, it's pleasant atmosphere. It's a social thing, you know? And so that's what we got going for us. And so we're just going to do what we do best. And that's a Saturday morning market.
It's all the good food. It's that, you know, good juice.
I have to tell you, the last Saturday that I was off. I got to go to you guys. I have a CSA with Prud'homme, so I got to go check out the produce there. Got my produce, take my time, and then it was nice. And I left, and then I went and had breakfast at Rusted Rooster. It was like a nice Saturday morning. I was like, I love this.
Yeah,
I would imagine that most of your listeners know what a CSA is, but let's explain to them. It stands for Community Supported Agriculture, and it's a program where the vendors, the farmer, sells shares of their farm. In other words, their season. There's a 12-week season. The customer usually pays in advance, although there's different concepts of it. I think Prud'homme does it a little bit different. And so what that does for the farmers, that it gives the income early on in the season. They're actually able to buy seed money, literal seed money, where they can get their season started. And the concept is shared risk, shared reward. So sometimes the bounty is plentiful, and sometimes it's not. And so that's a great partnership between the customer and the farmer. So I think it's a great concept. That
actually is good to kind of tie into the public's perception of a farmer's market. There was an article that came out a while back, and I shared it with Steven from Inglewood, and he was just like, man, this really hits it on the head that us. And before I had a CSA, I will say that I did somewhat have this mentality, and I cannot encourage everyone out there enough, if you can afford to, if you're an avid cook at home, to please at just one time, support a CSA, and it'll teach you so much about agriculture and our local agriculture.
Even if you're not a huge cooker at home, what a great way to feel inspired by, the things that you get out of that box. It's like a play set, and especially for beginners, I feel like it would be good to have, you get these ingredients, make whatever you want, experiment with them, and figure out what you can do. And it makes cooking fun. And,
I think if there are people who aren't familiar with why farmers markets are so good, when my wife and I were growing, we grew a lot of lettuce, and we harvest lettuce on Friday afternoon for our Saturday morning market. And that lettuce that we sold to those customers, we'd see the customer, week after week after week. And sometimes they would go 3 weeks without buying their lettuce. And so they would come to us and say, the lettuce is still as fresh as it was the day we bought it. And so the beauty of purchasing, especially produce and other things, but is that freshness. I mean,
I pop on site, so you're getting that fresh stuff.
Right,
it's super fresh.
I mean, most of the produce that you buy in grocery stores have been harvested 14 days ago, and sometimes, like with the understanding, like tomatoes are gassed to turn red, and so absolutely, and so
strawberries,
the wax on the apples.
The farmer here locally is able to grow varieties for quality, for flavor, and for texture. Most of the produce that you find in grocery stores are mainly bred for shipping purposes. The tomatoes are like baseballs. They're tough and there's no flavor. And so that's one of the aspects of why a farmer's market is better for you.
Because you're getting you're getting your vegetables and your fruits in their truest form.
The tomato is like the prime example of like amazing, why you would always buy it local as opposed to, my dad always refers to the grocery store tomatoes as hothouse tomatoes and that they have like no flavor. And that's like the complete
and then you have like this sweet, amazing kind of tart, juicy
from the grower's perspective, especially here in Deep South, the tomato is kind of the holy grail. If you can grow a good tomato here in the Deep South, you are a good grower because they're tough. Their optimum temperature for proper growth is 85 in the day and 65 at night.
Yeah, right.
You know what that is. That's like maybe a month in April and May. So if you don't get your tomatoes in early enough and do it right, you're not going to have good tomatoes for very long.
I'm about to try to grow tomatoes at my house. I think that's going to be the last thing I plant.
Go for it.
Do it.
Because I'm really
Take
worried.
on that challenge and please do it.
The basil
do it
is
for
doing
us all.
great. Like all the other herbs that I've gotten so far, I think the black thumb is ending, but tomatoes is like
for anyone who has their tomatoes in the
cream.
ground now. I think this has the potential to be a really good year because it's been so mild early on.
Yeah.
There was a grower out there selling tomatoes this week, and he had the tomato transplants. They had flowers and tomatoes on them already. So it could be a good season for tomatoes.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Maybe I'll have success just
That's
because
exciting.
it's going to be a good year. So us as the consumer need to not go into a farmer's market having the perception that it is going to be like a grocery store and that you're going to have the wide variety of fruits and vegetables that you have at a grocery store.
You will not find bananas or avocados at the farmer's market.
Or if you do,
don't buy them.
That's an important thing, Tiffany, is that we're what we call producer only.
Right.
All of our vendors are either grow it or bake it or pop it. or craft it if they're artists. And so no one goes and purchases something and brings it and resells it. So that's a different concept. We're a producer-only market.
And there are farmers markets out there that do that. And so people see that and have this perception that you guys are supposed to have that too. But that's one thing that's good about you guys, that you know that what you're getting at your market was grown from local
And if you have
producers.
questions about how it was grown, they'll have the answer for you. And so that's another aspect of the market that really most people really appreciate, that being able to ask, how was this grown? What did you use to grow this? Or what are the ingredients in this product? And
you have a firsthand answer there.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
I think one of my most vivid memories about why I really like the farmer's market is I was on the hunt for eggs, and the vendor that I talked to was like, oh, we ran out. Our hens aren't really producing right now. They don't produce a lot. I think it was in the winter. She was like, they don't produce a lot of eggs in the winter, which I never knew.
I feel like if everybody popped it, or everybody popped. I'm in kettle corn brain right now.
Everyone popped the popcorn.
I'm talking about like popping out eggs. If everybody got as many chickens as they could possibly ever have, like we could sell that many eggs at the farmer's market. Because the difference, like talking about the difference between a store-bought tomato and an egg or a tomato that you get from the farmer's market, like just everything is different about it.
I think that's the other thing. And she was like, we don't have them. We ran out. And then so that was at another farmer's market, went to another farmer's market, and they were like, oh, we're out, but go try this one and, keep going down. So that was the vendors like encouraged the other ones that if we're out, there's another vendor out there that's going to have, the eggs for you.
Well, that's that whole idea of community that I know that I've been doing farmers markets for 25 years, my entire life, and I'd never imagine myself not doing a farmers market. And it's because it's not, you're not going in as coworkers. We're not coworkers. We're family. We're in it together. When it's freezing cold and 21 degrees outside, we're there together and we're united. And, and I think it's about all of that, really lifting each other's business up.
That's a great point, Abby. Like these vendors, they're competitors, yes, but before they're competitors, they're partners.
Yeah.
If there's vendors who don't show up, that affects the market. And so that's an aspect of the market that really is that's
so long story short, if you're ever feeling down on the world and you just feel like it's awful and people are horrible, just come to the market on a Saturday morning, because you're going to walk away really, really renewed with the whole new.
And look, we're always looking for new vendors. I mean, there's an application process. If you go on our website, you can check out the application. There's always a need for more produce and all kinds of farm-based products. That's part of the culture of farming nationwide, is that there's a shortage of
not to mention the artisans that are at the farmers market, like these the things that you can find at the farmers market. It's such an outlet for everybody, creative, a creative outlet for them. And like, you have the pottery, and you have the map guy, and you have the man who I am awful with names. I'd like to start first because I've been doing farmers markets for 3 years with these people, and they are the honey people. Or they are the guy who makes knives out of deer horns.
Yeah. We're so fortunate here in Lafayette to have Louisiana Crafts Guild, and so we utilize the services of the Louisiana Crafts Guild to jury, kind of evaluate our art applicants, and so all the art that we have there is top quality. It's kind of the best stuff that you can find out there.
It really is.
Yeah, it is.
All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Mark and Abby. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
And now, the Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Ducote. Abbie Perkins with Cajun Kettle Corn and Mark Hernandez with Lafayette Farmers and Artisans Market have been tonight's guest co-hosts. Any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email me at lafayettefoodjunkie@gmail.com, and I'd be more than happy to get back to you. So recently had the Hardy Party, And
Yes.
Abbie was one of the vendors at the Hardy Party. And one of my
Such a
jobs
great night.
was to be the judge's wrangler, which was so much fun. And I took them over to Abbie's tent first. And I think they would have stayed there all night.
Oh, they were so great. They were so much fun.
Captivated by the corn and the popping of the corn and how good the corn tasted. Jay Ducote said it was the best kettle corn that he's ever had.
He was so nice. I know.
I agree as well. We could not stop eating the kettle corn. And I think it was the most talked about thing of the night. I saw everyone with a bag of it. My boyfriend stole my bag, even though he said it was his bag. And it
the
was
bags
not.
I brought her tonight are for her.
He's like, no. So when did you get your start with the kettle corn? How did this all come about?
Well, it basically came about with, like a lot of businesses do. I had moved to Lafayette, unemployment, and needed to make some money. And I was that type of person that would pay the entrance fee to go into a festival. I would grab my kettle corn and I would turn around and walk my happy butt right out the festival because I was there for kettle corn. So, and my feeling was I was always like picking through the bags and trying to like find the crispy ones that were all like perfectly coated. And then my sister had started, doing this idea, and she had a husband that was really good at welding and built this kettle. And they were like, well, we're going to do it, but nah, I don't think we're not going to do it. So you take this kettle and start doing farmers markets to help support yourself. So I did that and, burnt a lot of kettle corn in the process of finding this recipe and how to make it work better. And just a good balance of sweet and salty. And then, getting just like a roux, getting, my caramel just right. So that's where it started. And so dove right back into farmers markets. My parents own a bakery in Covington and have been doing that their whole lives or my whole life, not theirs. They're 71. Sorry, Mom. She's going to kill me. But it's, we started that. We started at the Hub City. And then, I was enchanted by the horse farm, now Munkus Park. And when they opened up that farmer's market, it was hands down, where I wanted to be. It was the vendors that I wanted to be with and the leadership I wanted to be with as well. And started there. And the response that I got from Lafayette was it was amazing. They loved my product. I formed amazing relationships, lasting relationships with all of my customers. So that's where it started.
If there was a kettle corn festival, Abbie would win hands down.
Yeah.
Talk about the different.
I have to tell you, it's so good. It's like I was apprehensive to try it because in my head I was thinking just super coated.
Sticky, like a little
sweet,
too heavy.
Almost like caramel corn.
Right.
And so that wasn't appealing to me. I tried it. It's salt, a light sweet, and it's just so
fluffy.
Delicious.
The idea is I'm all about those, like I'm a baker and I'm a chef and like I'm all about these like perfect flavor combinations. And I think it gives that, like it tastes buttery, but it's not. There is no butter in this. It is just that perfect caramelization, and it's just the time and energy and, burning yourself a lot in the process. But I've worked through that.
And maybe the feedback from customers too.
Definitely. Like one of the, we've been rolling with our original kettle corn for years and years now. And then we've started playing around with different flavors and we've gotten an amazing response. One of the flavors that we've done, so we started doing when crawfish season started this year was the crawfish boil. And we've gotten an amazing response from that. It's that sweet and spicy, and it's just people are head over heels with it. And then we do our cinnamon and we do a Jamaican jerk that
oh wow.
Yeah. I really miss Mary from the farmer's market. Yeah, Roy, her husband, would make this mix for me. It was a Jamaican seasoning and it was so amazing. So I've been on him every time I see him. I'm like, will you make that for me again, please?
That absolutely is one of the benefits of being at a farmer's market is that you get product testing. I mean, you can really get feedback immediately.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, one of the farmers, of course, I'm not going to remember their name, but they're new and they're doing meats, beef.
Gidries.
Yes, that's them. Their daughter is into corn, right? Yeah. And she came over and her dad have decided that they want to start growing me popping corn.
Oh,
so we're about to start working with them, and they're a few months out, but they're on top of it. So we're she's going to do different kinds. She's going to do some colored popcorn for us that are naturally.
Cool.
Yeah,
We
I'm really
absolutely
excited about it.
encourage vendors to utilize the ingredients from the other vendors.
Right.
And a lot of people do, and it's great. You know?
Right.
My grandfather grows corn. He's obsessed with this one from Colorado. It's a blend out of, he said it's sweet. He makes amazing corn. Like that, one of my vivid memories growing up is on Sunday dinners is the corn with like probably 5 sticks of butter in it. It's like this creamed butter corn.
Only way to eat it.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah.
So I'm interested.
Well, one of the things that I'm really excited about is, once we started Cajun Cane, we were using Louisiana raw sugar, and I would spend a whole afternoon and haul all my babies down to Franklin and go directly to the Sterling Mills, and I'd fill up, about 15 or 25 gallon buckets and bring it back. And eventually our business got so big I couldn't do that anymore. And then Tony Bonamalo had Lacan at the farmer's market, and recently he's taking off with Waiter and everything else. So he's decided to back out from that. And I have I've purchased that business from Gabe and Tony now. So we're going to be doing the Louisiana raw sugar along with our kettle corn again, and we're going to be doing all the things that they offered and servicing all the same customers and people that they had.
Corn and sugar
It's
for a
going to
local
be
product.
Oh yes, which is a good combination.
Absolutely.
I used to joke and say that I was going to start selling my kimchi that I was experimenting with at the market. But you guys have someone out there now that is selling kimchi. It's Cultured.
Cultured Guru. Yeah,
yeah.
they're just recently new from Baton Rouge, and so we have vendors coming from 24 parishes: Baton Rouge, Lake Charles,
Yeah.
Alexandria. Yeah.
One of the things that I think is the coolest thing about farmers markets and starting businesses is it is the best texture market that you can have. Like you have such a diverse population of people that come to a farmers market, and you can test your products and get their feedback. That's what Hub City Roasters.
Yeah.
That's what they have spent the last 6 months or so doing is really encouraging their customers to give them feedback, giving them email addresses. Hey, let us know if you don't like it. Come back. We'll give you a different kind.
Yeah, we've had several vendors who have utilized our market as a launching place. Manny with Bread and Circus, Ryan with Dark Roux. They all started at our farmers market and moved on to bigger and better things. No, not bigger and better, just bigger things.
Just bigger things.
And so that's one thing too, is that we have a really diverse vendor segment. When we have healthy options, there's
car macaroons.
Yeah.
Oh my
They
goodness.
were on the show a few weeks ago.
Oh,
you
they're
were talking about the
killing it.
misconceptions of farmers markets, and most people who haven't been to a farmers market might think it's only health conscious,
Right.
hippie types, but it's not. We've got all kinds of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's everything there. And we should go ahead and mention that we're going to be doing a monthly series on the Lafayette Food Junkie radio show about meeting the different vendors that are at the farmers market, so you guys can listen in and get to know the different vendors that you guys have a little bit better.
Form those relationships in a little more in depth for sure. I love it.
And so the market's gotten some accolades out there.
Yeah, we're really excited about this. The Southern Living magazine last August named Lafayette Farmers and Artisans Market a top 10 farmers market in the South. So that's really
huge.
That's great. And then the other thing was the Times of Acadiana named us second best free thing to do. That's legal in Lafayette behind Festival International.
That's pretty
big. And so we'll take that any day. But even though we've got those accolades, it's really about people and it's about connections. And so I really think that that's kind of more what we're proud of than those accolades. But those accolades are nice as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
No, thank you for
coming
having
on
us.
Tonight's show. It's been fun. It's flown by.
It has.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having
And
us.
for more information, Facebook, social media, you guys are really good about posting.
Oh, we are. We try and post every day, and as it gets closer to the weekend, for sure, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So look us up on Facebook and on our website.
All right, that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This is Tiffiany Ducote on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.